During this short video, we will explain our reasons for believing that Tim Burton is an auteur. We will prove this theory to you in the form of mise-en-scene, highlighting his signature artistic flair that is known to this day as a Tim Burton film.
Burton spent the majority of his childhood as an outsider. He grew up in suburbia in Burbank, California, and because of his unique personality, he was often misunderstood. His childhood experiences living in the suburbs left him with the belief that society tries to stifle anything that makes people individual. His views against society started early on.
Burton spent a lot of his time as a child watching horror films and drawing. He enjoyed watching films with monsters who were misunderstood by those around them, feeling like he could relate to them by the way he was treated throughout his childhood. The films that moved him were mainly stop-motion animations and films that reflected German expressionism. Before he started directing his own films, he enjoyed the conceptual work he was able to do for Disney Studios.
First of all, let's discuss the typical lighting that you would find in a Tim Burton production. In most Tim Burton films, lighting is used to enhance the depressing or dark themes. Lack of lighting helps to portray the dark emotions that Tim Burton likes to get across to his audience. Lighting also helps strengthen the twisted feeling behind the locations used in his productions.
1972.
This brings us onto the locations used in these films. There is a similar theme and location throughout many of Burton's movies. This includes the exaggerated sets, and everything is enhanced to make it look more dreamlike, and as though it has just come out of Tim Burton's imagination.
Tim Burton also uses exaggerated costumes by choosing colours that reflect their personality. For example, in Alice in Wonderland, the Mad Hatter's costume is very crazy, with an eccentric feel to it. This enhances just how mad he is. Another example of this is Johnny Depp's character in Sweeney Todd. He is dressed in very dark clothing. This is done for two reasons. One is because he plays a very dark character, and the other is because Tim Burton wants to portray that this particular character has had a depressing past.
The makeup used in Tim Burton's creations help along with the costume to build up the character's personality, from using the extravagant wigs in Alice in Wonderland to the eccentric facial features in Dark Shadows. This shows how diverse Tim Burton's characters are.
The character's makeup can also portray their wealth and importance in the time and place where the film is set. For example, the Red Queen in Alice in Wonderland is the most important person in that area. She has the most authority. Therefore, her makeup is very extravagant. She is made to have huge eyes which can look very intimidating. They also have a lot of colour to them and around them, and she also has massive red hair to portray her as a fiery redhead.
If we were to compare this to the Mad Hatter's makeup, who lives in the abandoned area and has no authority, he is made up to have tiny eyes and a very small face. The red rings around his eyes also suggest he's been having a very hard time. Tim Burton portrays most of his characters this way by using makeup.
This brings us on to the actors and actresses that Tim Burton chooses to use. There are hardly any Tim Burton films that don't include Johnny Depp and/or Helena Bonham Carter. This is because their acting style is so unique and therefore makes nearly every Tim Burton film completely unique.
With 156 awards and nominations between them, they are known as the two best and most popular actors around today. So, for Tim Burton to choose these two for nearly every one of his films does not only make his films more appealing to his audience, but also supports our idea that Tim Burton is an auteur. As soon as you see a film with both Johnny Depp and Helena Bonham Carter in, you instantly know that it is highly likely to be a Tim Burton creation.
Johnny Depp and Helena Bonham Carter also have a distinctive acting style. Johnny Depp frequently plays a character with a messed up past and/or a twisted personality. This makes his acting style instantly recognisable and unique. This is probably why he has such a strong relationship with Tim Burton, because there is no one else who could play those insane, twisted characters better than Johnny Depp does.
Helena Bonham Carter also has a very unique acting style. Tim Burton always chooses a crazy, insane, yet very headstrong woman for her to play, and Helena is a very strong, independent woman as well. This makes her a very good role model for women, making her character more intriguing and Tim Burton's films ultimately more appealing.
Tim Burton carries out the idea of exaggerating everything during his movies through the props that he chooses to use. For example, in Sleepy Hollow, the extravagant props are used to show the character's role in the movie. He also uses this to portray his twisted humour in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, as he sets innocent objects alight.
This brings us to our final point, that is music. Tim Burton works very closely with the composer and arranger Danny Elfman, who creates a haunting impression straight away, just through the sounds that he produces, and he's also known for putting together most of Tim Burton's movie soundtracks. This also adds to our idea of Tim Burton being an auteur.
So, to conclude, why is Tim Burton an auteur?
We believe that Tim Burton is an auteur as his style of film is well recognised within the filming industry. His creations are completely unique and will go on to entertain many generations in years to come.
Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.
Goodbye.
Wasn't that just magnificent?